Hello, this is, whoa, that's my face. This is Sealchan, and this is episode 5 of my Vanilla Plus Progressive Let's Play. The music is playing, so let's take a walk. Alrighty, well, I've been suspecting this for a little while, but these flowers are growing and spreading. I think we just saw this one grow from its small to its larger size. Here comes the Harry Potter music. Well, these are terraqueous flowers. Terra aqueous, it's like land and water. And I did some experimentation on them since they're around in my test world, and they grow and they spread. So really, to farm these flowers, you could really just find a patch of them and take some number of them, as long as you leave one or two, like this fully grown form. Let's see, so for this primrose, we have the single and then the fully grown. They'll just go from here to here on a random tick. And in this form, I believe there's a chance that they can spread as a single flower to a block nearby. You can accelerate the process with bone meal. And yeah, I mean, you can tell the flowers have invaded my base camp. So really, to farm these, you don't even need to wait for bone meal. So I'm going to change that in my plans. I can start collecting these flowers, I think, right away. So long as you leave, I don't know, you leave 3, so wherever there's a patch of 3, you have basically a farm. You take the rest around that patch and let them regenerate. So, pretty cool. And the more time that goes by, I think in the distance here, if we assume these are mostly terraqueous flowers, the more that time goes by, the more colorful the landscape is there. We just saw, I believe, I don't know what this was before. I can always stop the footage and check it out, but I think maybe a 1 went into a full formed flower, so very cool. Alright. Well, anyway, this is episode 5, so I'm covering round 5. What I did, the Explorer did this round, was just take a second attempt to go to the top of the mountain. And as I did that, I rediscovered that at the top of the mountain there are wolves, and I'm assuming that whichever the two animal mods, this wasn't vanilla wolves, this is one of the modded wolves, that they would be aggressive, so I stayed away. I was able to actually reach the very top of the peak, and there's a single block that was at the top, but right nearby were some wolves, so I stood there for a moment, and then I went and left. It takes most of a Minecraft day to get there and back, although it's not too far. It's hard to scale the mountain without taking or using blocks, which I did. That is, I did not dig or place any blocks. So, yeah, that's the Explorer did. So I've completely covered the entire clover patch biome, and I'm reluctant to go into this next biome to the north, which is the, oops, looks like JEI is a little confused, but it would be the Redwood Forest region. Let's see if we go back in there, if it gets, there we go, yeah, Redwood Forest region. Because I need to start building some places to store things, and as we'll discover, I'm finally making slow and tentative progress toward being able to, you know, store blocks, not in my personal inventory. Okay, so next up is the farmer. The farmer has been harvesting and growing sugarcane, and I'm just, you know, without any tools or any way to really reshape the landscape other than punching blocks. That bee took a drink. Oh, and he also passed out of range. Let's see if I can recover the bee. Or did he despawn? Nope, he's still there. Or is that a fly? It's probably a fly. Anyway, yeah, so just very simple sugarcane farm along the river's edge here. Just this time I harvested blocks. I planted a little bit more, but I also went across the river and took enough so that I got a full stack. So yes, I have achieved a full stack of sugarcane. So that means that the sugarcane in my list of blocks and items has moved on to use research, which I will talk about when I talk about the researcher. So, in any case, that was a nice little achievement, and the forester also was able to report that they logged enough oak logs to get a stack of oak wood. So we made that achievement as well. It's also able to become usage researched in my progression of the researcher. So yeah, if you're following the flowering oak story, I did harvest this tree and got exactly one flowering oak sapling out of it. So yeah, it's not looking to be the greatest farming technique, and I'm hoping can find some other way that I could grow and increase the number of flowering oak trees I have without, taking them from elsewhere. I was fortunate that the first one I harvested yielded 2 saplings, so I was able to replant the tree that was somewhere over there and establish a new one. But I don't know, maybe patience will prove that you can get what you want if you keep trying. Alright, so again, pretty simple. I harvested all these trees and did achieve the oak block stack, or the oak log stack, and the sugarcane stack. So with that's all there was until I got to the researcher. And the researcher was able to do his first usage research. I looked at sugarcane and maybe rediscovered something that I hadn't remembered, but and did this in the test world, but let's try it out here. Planting in Java Edition in the water yields a pocket of air. Yes. And this is a tool that obviously we could use to create pathways underwater, or to deep dive, quickly plant some sugarcane and create a space underwater to do some sort of mining. Now, I haven't seen any of the what do you call those, amethyst geode node things underwater yet, but seems to me like you could go and mine those with just some sugarcane as your base. So I made a new list of tools that I don't know who is going to make use of them exactly, but whether the miner or whomever, it's a tool that I can remind myself exists, that sugarcane creates air pockets underwater. So pretty cool. Aside from that, the only means I have to craft is the personal inventory crafting grid. So, with sugarcane you can make sugar, and whatever items I discovered you can craft with the oak log or the sugarcane in the personal inventory crafting grid I wrote down. So obviously I have oak planks as one of my ingredients, or one of newly discovered items that I added to the list. Yeah, so that's what the researcher did. And just in case I hadn't covered this before, which I probably have, I also just wanted to discuss what I call the gather goal. So once I establish a means for getting more of something, like we discussed with these terraqueous flowers, these are basically ready to harvest. Once I establish the means, then I set a gathering goal. It's an initial goal of how many of that item or block I want to gather, just to kind of have a starting supply to prove to myself that I am able to harvest a quantity of that block or item as I want. And gathering goal I typically make as a stack of that item. And yeah, once that's satisfied, then that item becomes eligible for usage research, where I go into the wiki, or something like, I think this is this JEI, and just type the item name, right click, And here I also realized that Quark supplies, the mod Quark supplies a recipe for paper that is compatible with the personal inventory grid. So already I am able to craft paper. And here's our sugar. Now I can't craft this because I haven't even discovered the crafting table. And but yeah, I will shortly, of course, because the oak log will give me the oak planks, and next round when I research the oak planks, I will discover the crafting table. So in my list, I did not move on for oak logs and sugar cane, having finished usage research. I just set it to usage research / CT for crafting table, knowing that in this very early game progression, I'm going to want to revisit the usage research once I get the crafting table, which should be in 1 or 2 rounds from now. And yeah, so hopefully the chest will come along with, because I really do need to make more room in my inventory here. Soon after, just looking ahead, and people are, if you're watching this, you're wondering, my gosh, this is taking forever. Well, believe me, things will avalanche, and pretty soon there'll be buildings everywhere, and I'll have tons to do each round. But very soon in the progression, I am going to go into the mines, get my stone, and with stone and wood and the basic tools, I will be able to start transforming the landscape with buildings and whatnot, and we'll finally build the beginning of the mega build, which will be a kind of super village with other items. So anyway, let me switch to third-person view here and say this is my end of this video, and I hope you're enjoying this. Stay tuned and we'll continue the progression. Thanks.